Hello everyone, it's me, Coffee Stitcher. It is the start of the last week in September, if you can believe that. But I am ready to go in full-on Halloween mode. I mean, I'm pretty much always in full-on Halloween mode, but I really get to drag it out coming soon. How is everybody? Awesome, that's really good to hear. So, since our last meeting, I've got a little bit of haul. I'm going to show off. Some of this is actually not going to be too new. Those of you who have been watching me for a long time probably will remember that I temporarily inherited some older pieces when my grandmother moved out of her house into her apartment. And then because she was just going to get rid of it all, and then she realized about 2 weeks into living in the apartment that she didn't bring enough to decorate the walls with. So then it all went back over to her, and then a bunch of it did go with her from the apartment to the assisted care, but then when she moved from the assisted care to the nursing home, the rest of it all basically came to me. So now that it's basically all together with some minor exceptions, I figured I'd go ahead and show that on off so you could see that. We've got some Q&A. I do still plan to do the Wizard of Oz whip/finish/stash parade. That's, I think, going to be in October, because I really would like to finish Emerald City before I do that. That way it's just all kind of at once. But we shall see. I'm trying it without the ring light today to see if maybe that helps with the lighting situation. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Alright, so let me show you the little bit of haul that I've got first. And then we'll go over the old stuff, and then we'll do the Q&A. Oh wait, no, we do Q&A first. What am I doing? Q&A first. Alright, so the first question / comment comes from Holly. And this is in regards to my Alice. Thank you to those who responded. Some of you messaged me privately, some of you commented here. I did come up with a solution, so you'll see that in a little bit. Holly says, I think that the challenge with Alice is that the character is based on a real person. So her suggestion was to look at maybe a Southeast Asian or Indian skin tone. And and I know that I would not, that's not an option. For the same reason that I couldn't make Dorothy be Native American. Given the history of colonization, that runs into its own set of very, very special problems. Given that history, that would not be, for me, something I would feel comfortable doing. Similarly, because Alice or Peter Pan or Dorothy Gale or Christopher Robin, or, characters that were based on actual people but have grown into their own thing, they're separated from the original person. So where I wouldn't do, for instance, the primitive hair Beatrix Potter, I'm stitching an actual historical person, I'm going to go with what their skin tone was. But for a fictional character, I'm all for changing the skin tones, because we need more diversity in cross-stitch. And that was something I really have strived for this year, is to try and be as inclusive as I possibly can in my stitching. And I feel like I've kind of done that. I hope I've kind of done that. But that's why I would not personally feel okay using a Southeast Asian or Indian skin tone on Alice. given the history of colonization in those areas by England. It just doesn't, I don't feel comfortable doing that. But a good question nonetheless. Let's see. I did purchase, and I didn't bring my iPad in here, so I don't have to show. Oh, wait, no, here's my iPad. I did bring my iPad in here. Ha, I just lied to you. Go me. I did go ahead and order the Hitch and a Ride pattern. This is from Blue Ribbon Designs. And she's designed them all for Sulky. I will obviously not probably be using Sulky. But this is one of her new... She's got a set of pin keeps that she's been doing called the Rick Rack Rounds series. And they're available in her Etsy shop, but I got her Halloween one. And look, there's a little spoopy ghost in the window. And Belinda said she's naming the teeny tiny spooky ghost for me. So, Ghost Garrett. So, of course I had to buy it. I would have bought it anyways, but... Critter Stitcher asks, what other Mirabilia patterns do you have? Well, I did actually discover that I had a mirror that I had started and I was somewhat far along into, so that's my new mirror that I'm working on. So you'll see that in a few moments. But since you asked, Critter Stitcher, I have the Queen Mermaid. I have Savannah's Curtsy. I have the Raven Queen. Very popular one. I have Baby Boat, which is definitely out of print. I have Archangel, which is like one of her few men. I have this one, which I was gonna start until I discovered that I actually had one started that I really ought to work on. I also have Lady of the Flag, but it's kitted up and I'm not sure where the kit is at the moment. So I do have Lady of the Flag. Gathering Eggs, which just retired, and I've always really liked this one. At the Met. Merchant Mermaid. Shakespeare's Fairies, which I do like, and it's another one that I will very likely start at some point. I plan to start all of them eventually, but... And then this one, which is Snow Days, which is also retired and out of print. So... those are the Mirabillas that I own. And then Rose City Stitcher said, you've been working on some Soda Stitch projects, but I haven't seen anything in a while. Did you UFO those, or have they just not shown up in your rotation? I put Nutcracker away because it wasn't, I wasn't enjoying working on it at the time, so it got put away. And then Fairy Tale Land 1 and 2, I decided I really enjoyed doing the individual ones better than I enjoyed doing two big ones that had all of it on there. And then on top of that, she added like 3 more fairy tales after she did Fairy Tale Land 1 and 2. And I was like, well, then what am I gonna do here? So... Alright, so that's it for the Q&A today. So now I'm going to show you my haul of actual things, and then haul of inherited things. So I did go buy my LNS. I took Woodland Fairy to be framed, and I got and I already had a couple of these. I don't remember which ones you've already seen, so you're just going to see them all again. Picked up most of the fairy tale pincushions from Tiny Modernist. They didn't have Little Mermaid, but we've got Aladdin with Jasmine, Little Red Riding Hood, Pinocchio with the Blue Fairy and Jiminy Cricket, Cinderella, Rapunzel and her Prince, let's see, the Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Hansel and Gretel, and Sleeping Beauty and her Prince. Like I said, I don't have Little Mermaid. That was the only one I'm missing that's been currently released. There's still October, November, December. I'm assuming we'll probably see Snow White. Oh, and I'm missing Puss in Boots. Aren't I? Wasn't one of them Puss in Boots? Did I make that up? Am I just in crazy? Am I just in crazy? Who? No, I'm not sure. Tiny. We're gonna stop and look this up just real quick. Tiny Modernist. I think I may have just imagined Puss in Boots. Yep, I just made that up. So I assume we're probably going to see Snow White. I expect probably either Alice in Wonderland or Wizard of Oz. I'm hoping Wizard of Oz, for obvious reasons. But once we see what the full thing is, I'll decide if I'm going to do all of them as pincushions or if I'm going to do just the sampler version. Because I really like both, I just don't know what the hell I would ever do with 12 pincushions. And honestly, I may still do the sampler and just stitch Wizard of Oz twice if Oz is in there, because I would do an Oz pincushion. So, all right. Let's see. So, let me show you the things that I have inherited. So this first one, my mother stitched for my grandmother and grandfather's 35th anniversary back in 1987. So, because names and birthdays are on there, I've covered those over. But she basically kind of designed this one herself. From various different motifs and things like that. And the bricks in the house kind of match the way the bricks on her house looked. So Nanny and Papa at the top, my mom and dad, and then me holding a pumpkin for whatever reason. So she stitched that. So I will be finding a location for it, for sure. Let's see. Oh, hey, I was looking for this, and it came back to me, so I need to take it back over there. So, the Night Before Christmas piece that I did for her, but I didn't realize was in my stuff. I'm actually going to be gifting this to my mom's next door neighbor, who is kind of like a grandmother to me. So, alright, so there's that. Then there's this Christmas needlepoint piece that my grandmother did in 1979. So nice and needlepointy. Then there is this piece that my mom did that says early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Mom did this in 1979. It was a stamped kit. You can sort of see a little bit where the mark around the sun didn't go away. But there's that one. And honestly, that one would probably look really good over there with the rest of the chickeny things. There's this one, which, while I never particularly cared for it, I still didn't want to part with it. It's Yours is the Earth and Everything in It. This one doesn't have any information on it. I don't know when it was done. It used to hang in the kitchen. And it hung in the kitchen in her apartment. I'm guessing my grandmother probably did this one. Surprised me that she didn't initial it. My mother was, like, insane about always initialing things. Equally probable, my great-grandmother could have feasibly done it instead. There's this one, which my mother did in 1987. This was another stamped kit, but it had printed fabric. And this, I think, hung in my grandmother's laundry room, if I recall correctly. And then these two pieces. There's a couple other pieces that I don't have that I think Mom has. Because there's one that definitely says There's No Place Like Home on it. This was by Mom in 1978. Just a churchy, alphabet-y sampler. And then this one is the last piece that my great-grandmother ever did. It's more of an embroidery piece, but she completed it not long before she passed. She passed about a year before I was born. So, and it's a little hard to see. It says Joy, Delights, and Joy. And I do think it was a stamped kit as I'm looking at it. Which makes it seem so strange that they would have done the wording, which you can sort of see, in white on white. But, you know, it is what it is. So, there we go. So those are all my inherited pieces, whether you wanted to see them or not. All right, so, what did I work on? Well, I'm glad you asked. Since I've seen y'all last, there's been a bit of a shakeup on the whips. Gasp of shock and surprise to nobody. So first, because I'm working on this one, should hopefully be caught up today. So I'm working on Cryptids. This is by the Witchy Stitcher. This is on Victoria by Deerfoot Fibers. It's not a very good representation. Is the ring light charged? It is. Okay. There we go. That's better color-wise. Okay, so the ring light's definitely needed for this sort of thing. So there we are. I'm almost done with Mothman, and then I've got the Enfield Terror to go. So my plan is I'll definitely finish Mothman, and I want to get as much done on Enfield today as I can. So, and that's what Mothman looks like in full. So I'm almost done with him. And then the Enfield horror. He's not very big, so I don't think he'll take all that long. And I'm doing it in Aurifil. There's probably going to be a little bit of DMC just for the back stitching, where I need it to be a little more fine. And then I'm using some metallics. So the words are actually Rainbow Gallery number 63. So the words, it doesn't show up too well. It's real hard to tell unless you're in person. But it's a very dark midnight blue. And that's the only color metallic I've used so far. But I've mapped out my other metallics. Okay, so what else did I work on? Well, let me show you where I'm at on Alice. I'm at 45 out of my goal of 50 hours for this month. So after I get caught up on cryptids, I'll work on Alice to get to 50, and then we'll figure out from there. But here's where I'm at on Alice. I did correct her skin. I did some of the small changes I made. So I finished part 3, and I'm about halfway through part 4. So the jars I made into jam jars, so that's supposed to be orange marmalade, because she picks up the orange marmalade jar that's basically empty, and then something blue and something maroon. I went for an inverted world map in the picture frame. So what would normally be water here is grass. I put an antique lamp and a perfume spray bottle and a vase. And then I've got a plan for here, but I've got a couple color options, and I also want to make sure they're not going to, I don't think they are, but I want to make sure they're not going to bring up something later. So that'll actually probably be towards the end that I do that part. And that's on Charming Autumn from X Jude Designs. And if y'all haven't, check out Imogen Cross. I think it's Imogen X Stitch is her Instagram handle. She's doing this super cool goth, emo sort of conversion, and it's looking really awesome. All right, I had a new start. I had a new start and sort of a new start. More of a not really a restart, but we'll see. So this one is Inspiration from Rosewood Manor. I'm doing the anchor conversion, which is interesting. I'm doing this on what is this fabric? Willow from Picture This Plus. It's a Lugana. So, and that's where I got on it. That's actually pretty accurate color-wise. So I got probably a quarter to a third of the first page done. Okay, this one is the other one. This is my Mirabilia. This is the one that replaced Woodland Fairy. Whoop. So I got it started. This is South Seas Mermaid. And I'm not sure what fabric this is on because it's not still attached. I don't have the information on it. I know it's a Gina fabric. Or, not Gina, Fabrics by Stephanie. It's an opal. But I had already done pretty much everything except the sort of brightish metallic green. So that was what I did. So, working my way on her. But yeah, I have no idea what this fabric is. Let's see. I worked on Anne Frank. This is by Gera, just on a random purple that I've got. This is my Stitch Asia piece. So I got the walls built around her, which is mildly depressing. This is going to actually become my work project for a while because it's a lot of blocky color. And as we know, I do well with that at work. So this is actually going to go to work with me for a little while. After I'm caught up on cryptids. And then I don't remember if I had started this or not, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. I think I had done this already. No, I wouldn't have, because this didn't release until the 15th, and my last video was the 11th. So this is Barbara Anna Designs, Witchy Dreams. I'm doing it on Norkia Black Truffle. So the next part comes out on Friday. Really excited for it. Here's where I'm at on it. This is Norkia Black Truffle is by Fortnite Fabrics. It was one of their Fabric of the Months last year. So I'm using mostly the called for colors. I did use sort of a fun green silk lame for the stuff coming out of the cauldron, and I'm using acrylic for some of it. I left the little witch that was up at the top out, and I left out the 31 in the little signage thing, partially because I have an idea for what I want to use for the 31, but I want to see, are we going to have other letters and numbers first, because what I want to do there may not work elsewhere. And I left the little witch out because I want to see how many witches there are, and I want to see what the bigger witch is going to look like, because presumably there will be a bigger witch. So I can figure out what I'm going to do skin-wise with them. And depending on how into fantasy it leans, I may not use normal skin tones. So we shall see. I'm also debating a little on South Sea Mermaid, what skin tone to do with her. I really like the idea of going super, super dark, like Lupita Nyong'o. But I'm also not against maybe going for like a purple skin. I think that could be interesting. So I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on that, drop them below. Yeah. So that's it for me today. The next time I see you, it'll be October. Ooh, ooky spooky time. To everyone who's going to do Darktober this year, good luck to all of you. I did it one year. I did not enjoy it. We will not do that one again. Yeah. So I will see you all next time. Bye.